okay, that was close. Now to defuse the spike. Wait, hold on. The guy I killed had an operator. The most expensive gun you can get in Valorant. I think it's better to grab it before I defuse. There we go. Alright, let's Wait, do I have enough time now? Maybe it's better to run away. I don't want to needlessly risk losing my operator. But we really need this round as well. Might as well chance it. Oh boy. For your own good, you might want to mute your teammates if you don't want to lose your hearing. In Valorant, you win the round by either killing the opponent or defusing/exploding the spike. One major difference between ending the round with kills or with the spike is that the spike can kill you even after the round has ended, which would be an incredibly unfortunate thing to happen. But because not all bomb sites are just straight out in the open, it sometimes takes a bit longer to get away. So what is the best bomb site to run away from? And which bomb site is the worst? To figure that out, we first need to understand the spike. So we have to talk about the spike numbers. But speaking of numbers, this video is sponsored by Valorant Tracker. If you play Valorant, you might want to listen closely. Knowing your opponent is one thing, but knowing yourself is perhaps even more important. Some of you might not know this, but I've actually been a Rainbow Six Siege coach for almost 5 years. And ever since I started, I've always been surprised how little my students know about themselves. Self-reflection is everything when it comes to improving, and that is where Valorant Tracker comes into play. You can see your KD, headshot ratio, your best maps, your best weapons, and so much more, which is perfect if you want to know what's holding you back or what you can improve on. If free improving sounds interesting to you, click the link in the description to get started. See, those are numbers too. I didn't just straight up lie, hate it or love it, it's a good segue into the ad part. Don't tell me otherwise. Anyway, let's go to the spike numbers. Let's start with the general, more mainstream known information. Planting the spike takes 4 seconds. Defusing it 7 seconds with a 3.5 seconds checkpoint midway, which means that if you defuse for more than 3.5 seconds and then stop because you're getting pushed or something, it doesn't drop down all the way but stays in the middle. So after you without a doubt killed the guy who pushed you, you only need to defuse for 3.5 seconds more. Make sure to remember this as it's important information to know for later. The spike countdown itself takes 45 seconds. But here's the neat part. The spike's movement and audio changes depending how late you're into the counting down sequence. So if we somehow manage to decipher and time what which change in the spike means, we can make better decisions on the spot about if we have to hurry or if we have time to hold an angle just a tiny bit longer. Let's get deciphering. The moment the spike model spawns in, it starts counting. Every little beep you hear is a second past. Well, roughly a second, as for some reason the spike beep plays 0.03 seconds later than intended. Riot, certified nerd emoji moment. The first 25 seconds, nothing changes to the spike. But at exactly 26 seconds, we move into the second sequence, where the spike spawns in a ball around the tower. The nice thing about this sequence is that you can faintly hear the ball generating into existence exactly 1 second earlier. So if you keep your ears open, you can anticipate when you reach the 26 seconds mark. So when you see this ball, you got 19 seconds left. At the 35 seconds mark, so 9 seconds later, the spike starts to rotate and beep more aggressively. The moment you see those sparks and light getting sucked away through its feet, you know that you're in the third sequence with 10 seconds left. Keep in mind that defusing the spike takes 7 seconds, if it's not on the checkpoint. So you have to defuse before the 38 seconds mark. Unfortunately for us, there is not a single indicator when we reach this point. I guess we just have to eyeball it. Nah, I'm joking guys. Oh, look at you, you're like the sad clown monkey from that one clip. There is actually a way to accurately see if you have time or not. Or rather, if you are too late or not. At exactly, and by this I really mean exactly the 38 seconds mark, a final ball layer starts to appear from the outside. The issue here is that it's not really easy to see. And in a normal scenario, and I'm being generous here, you'll notice it around a second later, so around the 39 seconds mark. If you see this ring and you're close to the spike, you better pray to whatever is out there that you have it halved, because otherwise this round is lost. 1 second later, the spike enters its fourth and final sequence, where it beeps super aggressively, plays that whoop 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 sound, and well, explodes in 5 seconds, so hurry up. If you have it halved, this will be a, how do I say it? A great time to defuse. Here as well, there is a small indicator whether you're or not, and that is the first lightning sparkles. Once you see them, you want to be around 0.4 seconds close to the spike, if you want to make it in time. And at exactly 45 seconds, the spike goes boom. And hopefully, you do not. So when is it time to run and when is it time to defuse the spike if it is planted in a perfectly open, flat space? Well, to figure that out, we first have to test one more small thing: the size of the explosion. Because the explosion doesn't instantly pop in like with the CSGO C4, we have slightly more time to get away. So how big does it get, and at what pace? The Black Ball of Doom reaches exactly 32 in-game meters away from the spike, or roughly the same as your audio range. However, once again, it doesn't reach it instantly. It takes exactly 1.12 seconds to grow to its biggest form. So it grows at a monstrous speed of 31.25 meters per second, or in kilometers per hour, a whopping 112.5 kilometers per hour. So the good news is, if somehow there is a massive explosion and you're driving on a German highway, you'll get out just fine. Here in the Netherlands, where for some effing reason we can only go 100 kilometers per hour max, I guess we are just doomed. When do we run? Like concluded in my max speed video, the fastest you can move as the average Joe is 6.75 meters per second. The spike ball is 64 meters wide, so we need to run 32 meters. Dividing 32 by 6.75 gives us this long ass number, so we just simplify it to 4.8 seconds. And that is our answer. You need 4.8 seconds to not die. We just figured that out with just math, didn't even have to go in game or something. But I still did to double check. Don't worry, it is correct. What isn't correct though, is presuming that we have to run at 40.2 seconds in the plant phase. Because the spike takes 1.12 seconds to reach its biggest form, we can safely say that you can run and still survive with 4 seconds left. Etching it any closer I wouldn't recommend, as you would have to be frame perfect with your timing. So before we go into some really advanced stuff, let's do a little conclusion here. If we were to plant in the open on a flat grounded terrain, you have till before the final ball appears to defuse the wall 7 seconds. And you have a 0.38 seconds time window to defuse the final half when you see the first lightning sparks. If you decide not to defuse, or you're an attacker and you're standing directly on top of the spike, you have till latest 1 second after the final sequence to run in a perfectly straight line. Perfectly straight line. See, that's where the problem arises. Depending on the map and bomb site, you can't always run in a straight line. A prime example would be bomb site B on Ascent. You can't just run in a straight line. You first have to jump on the smaller crate, then the bigger one, then jump to lane, then run towards the corner of the bomb site to run into B main, then cut another corner, and then run in a straight line. This all took us around 11.4 seconds to get away. That is a whopping 6 seconds difference between bomb site B on Breeze. Of course, there are many different ways to leave a bomb site, and many different bomb sites in general. Haven. So to avoid making this video 30 minutes long, I'm going to show you the 3 fastest and 3 slowest realistic paths when planting default that you might stumble across in Valorant. Let's start with the fastest. I think I also might just blow your mind here. You would probably think that the top 3 fastest is Breeze B to CT, followed by bomb site B on Bind, and then bomb site A on Bind for the fastest, as there are teleporters right next to them. But you're only 1/3 correct, or 2/3 wrong if you're a pessimist, I guess. Though here on Breeze we run in a straight line, we don't stay on even ground, which means we cover more distance. If you don't understand why, well, maybe you should pay more attention in math class, lil Timmy. Instead of taking 4.8 seconds, it takes 5.3-ish. Half a second slower. Here's a little challenge. I want you to think about a bomb site on any map where you can actually run 32 meters in a straight line on even ground. Wait, no, don't think about it yet. There's actually only one, and that's the second fastest, so hold that thought. The 3rd fastest first is bomb site B on Bind. What? I hear you cry. How is that possible? There's literally a teleporter there that shoots you across the map. How is it not second? Well, believe it or not, you're better off not taking the teleporter. If you run towards long and keep running, you run on even ground for like 28 meters and then run down long. If you take a turn and go into the teleporter, it takes around 0.4 seconds longer. Yeah, I know, I was shocked too, but it's true. So from now on, just run down long if you're tight on time. The teleporter won't do any good. The second fastest bomb site, and also coincidentally also the only bomb site in Valorant where you run on an even ground in a straight line the entire time, is bomb site B on Pearl to B long, taking, well, 4.8 seconds. There's nothing stopping you, this is literally the perfect scenario. The fastest bomb site, and fastest by a mile, is bomb site A on Bind, where it takes only 2.56 seconds to get out because of the closed teleporter. It's the only bomb site in the whole of Valorant where running to safety from default is faster than defusing a halved spike. From now on, I don't want anyone to ever die to the spike and bomb site A on bind again, okay? Deal? Awesome. Finally, we have the slowest bomb sites. Finishing third is bomb site A on ascent, where you go to heaven. The time it takes to jump and run down heaven is pretty long, plus the black ball of doom reaches out pretty far here. You're better off not risking anything here and leave early or take another path. The second slowest is again a bomb site A, but now on fracture, where it takes 9.9 seconds to get to safety if you decide to leave through dish. Here as well, we need to jump twice to get out of here, and you better not miss that early jump or the odds of you getting out are even slimmer. The slowest bomb site in the entirety of Valorant, so the complete opposite of bomb site A on bind, is bomb site B on ascent. We already covered this one before, I know, whoops, anticlimactic much, but hey, it is the slowest with 11.40 seconds. Before you comment, but Jet can actually dash faster, blah blah blah. Yeah, you're correct, please provide yourself a sticker. I want this video to not be 30 minutes, like I said before. So if you really want to know if abilities impacted much, I would suggest you check out my fastest movement video that covers it in much more detail. Oh boy, here it comes. If you like this video, please subscribe. Honestly, I love creating content, and the more people watching, the more financially independent I can be. And come on guys, you know I'm definitely a reliable source of information. I would not on purpose provide misinformation on the internet, like saying we move at 6.75 meters per second while we actually move more like 6, ruining all the times that could possibly kill you by making them exactly 12.5% faster. I wouldn't. Or maybe I did. Who knows? Maybe, just maybe, we do a little trolling. No, I'm just kidding. They are correct. Don't worry about it. Thanks for watching.